Hey, eventually I'll hit the right button and do this. What is up, everybody? My name is Steven Dutzman. I am the host of the Coils of Destiny. I'm also the Dungeon Master of this family-friendly tabletop role-playing game experience. Once again, Discord has put me in not the corner that I want to be, and I don't know how to fix it. So I'm just going to be over here in the corner. Everyone puts the DM in the corner, obviously, is what we're saying today. So this is episode 10 of Coils of Destiny. So what is Coils of Destiny, my viewers may be asking? Well, I'll tell you. Coils of Destiny is it's a production from Engage Family Gaming. It's a family-friendly content, so you can share this with your kids, learn to play Dungeons & Dragons together, and experience our goofy, wild adventure. And let's just get right into it, and I'll introduce our brave adventurers. To my, I think that's my left, I don't know, this way, is my brother Michael, who plays Preston, our wizard. To his left is one of my very oldest friends on this whole earth. We went to college back in like the 20s, I think.
The 1920s.
The 1920s, yeah, exactly. We old like that. And that is Marie. She plays Talia, our very, very slow-thinking, thoughtful warrior. Above her is Rory. She's a goth Disney princess ranger. To her right is Linda, the mistress of magnificence of Engage Family Gaming, and she is taking the lead as the party leader, the rogue Pin. And to her right is Amanda, my very best friend in the whole wide world, and she plays our cleric / culinary magician. She is the chef, and that is, I mean, I know technically she's like a pastry chef, so like, you know, it's different, but like she's a chef. You know what I mean? I'm sure she can whip up magic with things that are not baked goods. We'll find out as this adventure continues. Why? I'm sure. Well, yeah. I mean, listen. Sometimes
you make a mean crab puff.
I was gonna say we made crab cakes.
We did, and technically crab cakes are not
savory.
Pastry.
Really?
Well, savory or not, they're not pastry.
Wait, can we sidebar momentarily? Is that true?
That's legitimately
crab
true,
cups are not considered savory?
Crab cakes are they're like
no, they're not considered pastry.
Oh, I thought you said savory. I was like, wait a minute. So like crab puff. All right, never mind. You're right. Okay.
Crab puffs are pastry. Crab cakes are not.
Correct.
What's a crab puff? Have I ever had one of these?
Puff pastry with the crab stuff inside.
Okay, I've had one of those. I just didn't know what it was. All right. Welcome to my life. I've eaten all sorts of things that I didn't know what they were called. That people just put them on a plate and put the plate in front of me, and I went crazy. Fortunately,
crab rangoonies that haven't been fried.
Okay. Well, that doesn't sound very good to me. However, I'm sure people love it. With that said, well, I think, to be clear, I think everything is better fried. Just about.
Pretty clear.
To be clear. So yeah, let's play some Dungeons and Dragons. To recap briefly for those watching at home, or perhaps watching at home live, or perhaps watching on our YouTube channel later, this plucky band of adventurers started their time in the coastal town of Wavecrest, where most of them spent the majority of their lives. They are now moving across the continent to the capital of Blackwater, and they had to stop at a little sleepy town of Halden to resupply. But resupplying, they could not, because the general store was surrounded by a wall of fire, and that was, how shall we say, not cool.
Quite the pickle.
It was quite the pickle. In fact, now it's green fire, so it's like pickly fire. Who knew? And so at present, they are moving about the town, not randomly, in fact. They are moving about the town deliberately, knocking door to door so Talia can investigate and celebrate everyone's professions, because she is learning that people actually work for a living now. So
the novelty of it.
The novelty of employment is actually, that's my first nominee for episode title this week. So why am I coughing like this? Goodness gracious. Okay. That recap complete. Silly jokes made. Let's play Dungeons and Dragons. Marie, I'm assuming that you are going to maintain your spot in the driver's seat. What do you do while the rest of them watch helplessly as you do it?
So I forthrightly, where did we leave off? Let's see. Let me grab Talia. Where the hell did I leave Talia? I can't actually move Talia.
What? Okay, I'll fix that.
Pretty sure that one's Talia. Wait, is that one badass enough? I don't know where the hell I left Talia. Never mind, I found her. I'm full of lies. Wait, no, I still can't move her. Wait, I might be in the wrong select and move mode. There we go, I got her. Okay.
Oh boy. All right, so you're in a tree. Oh, you're not in a tree.
Well, I'm having trouble moving my screen. Hang on.
You are at the schoolhouse.
So,
or at least that's where you're facing right now.
We checked. God. If I remember correctly, I checked this house, these 3. So I was heading over to this one next.
Sure. That sounds great. Let me just move the map for the benefit of our viewers. And so, is anyone else? So I notice that people aren't necessarily moving yourselves on the map. That's okay. I'm not going to be that kind of a stickler. What I would like to do, I just want to do a quick roll call. Who is following Talia around, or who is staying put somewhere else and is just kind of along for the ride and not going to participate? Or is someone doing something else, at which point we're splitting the party, which is generally a taboo, but I'll allow it if necessary. So we'll go around the room. Michael, where are you going?
So I'm going to be following Talia, and
that's good enough for now. Hold on.
But as an additional action, I want to say, as we go to the next building, I am going to hang back 10 feet, and then I'm going to cast Detect Thoughts on myself and concentrate as I follow her.
Cool.
I mean, so I'm going to have Detect Thoughts up for the next couple of encounters.
Okay, just remind me. Rory, where are you going? And also, where are your bird friends going?
Bird friends are still in the tree. And honestly, if everybody's going to trick-or-treat their way around this circle, I'm going to sit at the bottom of the tree and watch them do it.
Cool. All right. The Disney princess finds there are benches all over the place. This is clearly a place for people to sit in the middle of town. There are actually, as you get there are other people kind of sitting and reading, or there's somebody kind of whittling. This is a common space, but you're able to find a bench that is free, and you sit down. And as you sit, your birds that were kind of all over the place on all the branches, just hanging out, they definitely all kind of, there's like a rushed flutter as they all just kind of rush over the top of the tree and all kind of land, near in the branches kind of above your head. So anyone that looks where you are sitting definitely sees an oppressive shadow of black bird just kind of humming in the branches above you. They're not freaking around like hummingbirds, but they're not standing statues still either. It's just that uncomfortable level of movement where they're just doing their thing. It's worth mentioning to anybody that's observing is these creatures are being very awkward and kind of borderline creepy and have no idea that they are doing so. Any conscious, this is just, they just are being that way. So that's setting the scene for the middle of the town. We'll see if any of the townspeople notice that. Linda, are you going to trick-or-treat?
I am totally going trick-or-treating with this.
Go trick-or-treating. That's 3 trick-or-treaters.
That's 3.
This could be
is this also the name?
Yep.
I like it. Trick-or-treating with Talia.
Everybody goes trick-or-treating.
And Amanda, is Odivira going to trick-or-treat, or is she going to sit down with her bestie, or is she going to do something else?
She's going to sit down with her bestie. We're going to keep eyeballs on everybody. And if we need to mosey into action or, quickly leap into action, we'll do that.
Cool. Fair enough. So you all are sitting there. And Odavira, when you sit down, you definitely notice that the person who is at the bench, kind of like next to y'all, as you sit down, you see like a breathe of like just a sigh of relief.
Interesting. I mean, I can greet this other human and be like, or this other creature and be like, hello.
It's a human. It's an older lady who's just kind of sitting with a basket of knitting. And so the benches are 2 people wide.
Nice.
She was sitting in the center of it, but like you know, she was sitting in the center of it. But as you sit down, you see like this sense of relief, and she does slide to the other side of the bench, pointedly away from Rory.
Oh.
But she's still sitting there. And she's
still
working.
Just hanging.
Yeah.
Okay.
She didn't like leave. She was just like, maybe you get the sense that maybe the flock of murder birds made her a little nervous. But we're talking like little old lady just kind of hanging out with her basket of knitting, you know.
I'm feeling called out over here as I'm
You know what? If you want to be called out by me talking about little old lady knitting as you crochet while you play Dungeons and Dragons, then you know what? You're welcome to do so. I'm not. There are no cops. No cops. Okay, so the 3 people who are trick-or-treating are Talia, a detect thoughtsing Preston, and Pin. So, Talia, you make it up to the front door. Pin and Preston are a respectful distance away. You knock on the door. You do not get an immediate response.
Knock again?
Like, scale of 1 to 10. Where 10 is you are pounding on the door with the intent of getting someone out because their building is on fire and you're trying to save them. Or 1 where you're knocking to say you knocked, but really are hoping they are not there. What number are you in? That's like me knocking if I was trying to sell fundraiser stuff when I was a kid.
Oh,
that's
I'll
like
go
the
with
1.
6.
A 6. So you're assertive.
Yes.
You know what? I'm gonna file that under not surprised one bit. So you roll in with a 6 knock, and you definitely hear it is very clear to you that the knock was heard inside. But it is a solid door, and you. After you pound on it a few times and you kind of give it that gentle listen to be like, okay, did it work? You definitely know that it made noise, and you can hear some shuffling around inside. There's clearly someone on the other side of the door, like moving things around. You see a chair get slid around. 1 minute. And there's more like stuff getting moved around. You hear what sounds like something fall over. You hear a cat kind of freak out and make a noise. A dog starts barking, and so it just gets slow.
My house?
Yes, they did. You're knocking at your own home, and all of a sudden you see the door just kind of start to shake a little bit, and you hear like the lock open and the door open, and this out from way below what you would have expected, the oldest dwarf you have ever seen in your life peeks out. Bald head, very thin, very white beard, very cool glasses though. This guy is clearly cannot see and spends money to be able to do so. These awesome bronze glasses with really, really well polished lenses. Kind of leans out the door. Yes, ma'am. And then he looks up at you. What can I do for you?
I'm looking for some ancient stones, and I feel you may be of some use given your... Perhaps you might know where they've gone.
You're looking for ancient stones?
Yes, they seem to have been removed from this rather lovely well that has dried up over in the field
you mean
over
the
there.
one over there?
Yes.
And he points like past you. Oh yes, that was the old town well many moons ago, but it dried up, so we filled it in.
That I did notice, but it has some inscription on it. We were hoping that replacing the missing stones might give us a way of rescuing the poor shop.
Oh yes, the shopkeep is in. She is in danger if she stays there for too long. I'm glad that there's someone looking to help her. Michael, I know you're detecting thoughts. Are you at surface level thoughts right now, or are you trying to dig deeper?
No, I'll tell you when I'm digging deeper.
Oh, surface level thoughts are, I can't let them open this door. My house is a mess. That's like top of mind. My house is a disaster. I can't let this woman see my house. Second high level thought is, I hope that the dog isn't still mad at me later.
With that in mind, because it doesn't have a verbal component, which is a little bit of a somatic, I turn my back, and I cast the message cantrip, so that Thalia hears a voice in the back of her head that says, "This is Preston. This old man is very concerned and embarrassed about the status of his house and the emotions of his dog, but he's telling the truth."
Okay.
And so, for the record, I'm not doing voices for the pets, but like you can hear there's like animals back there. It is like your house, Marie, right? Like there's animals, but like you don't get the sense that he's worried, but I think, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, exactly. It's kind of like, they're there. But it's, nothing super concerning. You can hear that, you hear some pets. And so back to him. Pin, are you doing anything? Or are you just listening?
I'm gonna get a little closer, but I'm not gonna encroach on. I'm not gonna try to come up next to her because I don't know this about him being worried about his house.
Yeah.
So,
Sir, it is a lovely day. Would you be more comfortable discussing this perhaps on your porch?
He smiles broadly and, steps outside. And he does have like a little rocking chair that you kind of didn't notice. It was just kind of off to the corner. And he says, "Gladly, these old bones don't like to stand for long anymore." And so he just sits.
Can we help you to your chair?
Now, before you say much, he's sprightly for an old man. In fairness to him, he only had to go a couple of feet and hop up. But when he gets up into his rocking chair, it starts to rock pretty aggressively, and his feet are nowhere near the ground. Like he's probably going to need help getting out. Is what might be the issue. So,
nice.
So you're looking to collect the missing stones from the well?
We are, yes.
Oh well.
I fear there's no one old enough to remember what happened to them. Humans don't live long, and perhaps you may have seen them or remember.
I've had people suggest that I might be old enough to remember the creation of our planet, but I'm not quite that old. But I do remember when the well was taken apart. When we filled it in, because the water ran dry, there were some people that took stones from the well to as souvenirs. I don't remember who. Michael, he's telling the truth. I don't remember who they were, but there were people who took them. And they, considering the importance of the well to our town, this was how we got our water then. I would think that those people might either have them or may have passed them down to their descendants. They're not magic, though, so it's not like they would have been sold or used in some sorcery.
Oh, no, we don't think that. We're just hoping that whatever was inscribed on it might lead us to rescuing the, It does have... There were some words on there. We're hoping it might help the poor shopkeep, as we said. But that's interesting. So, souvenirs and old... Excellent. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Do you happen to know any ideas of which families might have been around back then?
Well, I think that the and he just kind of like fades for a second and just says for a long time. I'm not going to imitate that noise. I don't want to hurt my voice, but he definitely says for an uncomfortably long time. And then, well, I think that it is possible. I know the blacksmith at the time took one. Perhaps you may find one there, or perhaps the current blacksmith may know. It is a piece of town history, so perhaps the mayor or the schoolhouse may have one. And that bakery has stood for hundreds of years, so it's possible that it may be somewhere there. But then, there could be others, perhaps even in the tree. Like in the tree. Depends on if the tree was allowed to grow around it.
Repeat. Do you remember the stones being left around the base of the tree or like on branches to decorate it?
I don't remember specifically, no. That was a long time ago, you see, and I've had other things to worry about since then.
Oh, naturally. Naturally.
And I presume you didn't take any of the stones for a souvenir yourself then.
I have seen many stones in my day. I did not need to collect more.
That is fair.
Well, good sir, I appreciate the information immensely, and if there's anything we can do, I would be happy to assist. I'm pretty good with animals, and
Could you help me get out of my chair? I think I'm stuck.
I'd be delighted to.
So he just kind of, he leans forward, and with any amount of effort, he is.
Want a strength check because I might launch him.
He is not hard to move. This is, like I said, the oldest, frailest dwarf you have ever imagined. Picture like the dwarf version of like the crazy thief guy from Aladdin that wanted that was stuck in that guy that was stuck in jail. Picture that, only nice, not secretly a wizard in disguise. I repeat, not a secret wizard in disguise. I guess spoilers for Aladdin. And is there spoiler?
Now you know.
If you didn't know,
it came out in the 90s. I think we're safe.
Okay, good. If you didn't know the creepy guy in the basement of a Disney movie was actually evil, you don't watch a lot of Disney movies. So picture that, only kindly and a dwarf. So you get him very easily down from the chair. He kind of hobbles inside and pokes his head out and says, "Let me know if you find the stones. I'd be interested to see what they say, because I don't remember." And then he shuts the door. And then immediately you hear a chair sliding around, another thing falling down, a cat freaking out, a dog barking. And then it settles into an uncomfortable silence.
The cats knocked all of the Funko Pops off the wall while I was at LARP, by the way.
That's 100% what it sounds like. It sounds like all his Funko Pops fell on the ground. He had a Talia Funko Pop.
I was gonna say, you must have a cool collection.
Dude.
He had an Olivera Funko Pop, and it had cookies.
You just need to pick one.
It's amazing.
Careful with that. I know someone who makes.
Oh man, custom Funko Pops would be great. We should do that for our 50th episode. Okay, so maybe when you guys save the world, and so who says you're gonna have to save the world? That's weird. Spoilers, I guess. So he shuts the door. You hear all the noise, but then it settles down. Mike, are you can still detect his thoughts even though you can't see him?
Is he? I can detect his thoughts as long as he is not within. It's not as long as there is not 2 feet of wood.
No, all right. So you can see. What you get is whatever the thought you think you would get from a super old man sitting in his comfy chair. Whatever that is, that thought happens.
Oh, so
imagine
he's thinking
that.
About what he's going to eat for dinner.
Oh yeah, he's just chilling. He is officially in dealing with that nonsense mood. It's over. Now he just wants to sit and be like, I wonder what soft foods I will eat later.
So raviolis and a nap?
Yeah, it's similar. Exactly.
Oh, I'm real down for that. That sounds awesome.
Raviolis
in a nap is definitely...
It's our future adventuring title.
Here's the next title. Raviolis and a nap.
Raviolis in a nap is 100% the episode of this, the title of this episode.
All great societies have their own version of the ravioli, each of them delicious in their own way.
It's true. So, where do you go next, bus driver?
I believe there is a pretzel mouthful of house.
What do you think about going to the is the blacksmith close by? Because that was the first one he mentioned.
Technically everything is close by. If we're being honest,
trick or treating. Let's be efficient.
Sure.
To the blacksmith.
So you do remember from before, the blacksmith is, if you remember the entrance to the schoolhouse, the blacksmith, if you went counterclockwise, was towards the south of the was towards the south of the village.
Yeah. My detect thoughts has officially expired. It lasts for a minute or an encounter. So boop, it's done.
Okay.
To the blacksmith.
Sure. As you near the large stone building that makes up the Brumblefoot Blacksmithery, the sound of rhythmic hammering rings out, accompanied by the crackle of a blazing forge. The blacksmith shop is a scene of industrious chaos. Iron tools of various shapes and sizes lie scattered around while sparks dance around a burly figure. The skilled blacksmith, muscles gleaming with sweat, greets you with a nod and a broad grin. Hail! What brings you to my place of business?
Sorry, I was distracted by the sweaty muscles. Good sir. I just spoke to the most amazing dwarf, and he did tell me that perhaps this forge of yours was almost as old as the town?
Oh yes, this was one of the first buildings built when the town was formed. You can't build many buildings without nails. You can't shoe many horses without a blacksmith. And so
that is true.
But I haven't been here. I'm much too young for that. You see before you a tall, very well spoken orc who is wearing a shirt that is quite like worn. Like, this guy clearly has work clothes. And so he's wearing this like heavily like torn and soot covered shirt that really doesn't do a great job of covering the fact that he is a incredibly chiseled, like this is like, picture like he's a professional wrestler looking guy, big, broad shoulders, crazy muscles. He's wearing a basically not there shirt and an apron. And he's got this giant mallet that he's using, like an oversized hammer, to start doing his blacksmithing. So he, he stopped momentarily to talk to you, but as soon as he finishes a few sentences of greeting, he gets back to work. And he's building, he's making something. It hasn't really taken shape yet, but he's hammering an ingot into place. So... I don't know if any of you guys are blacksmiths by trade. Anybody? Nope.
No.
We had an accidental chef. I didn't know if we were going to have an accidental blacksmith. So he's making a thing. Clearly he's making something, and he's working very hard.
I don't want to interrupt you from your fascinating trade. I heard tell, because of the ancientness of this forge, that there might be some unique stones used to build the area. Can't
Or
talk.
perhaps even just around the building. I know in where I've come from, people sometimes use old keepsakes and things in odd ways, like doorstops.
Do you have any stones that might match the one in the old well? Perhaps with markings on them?
No. And he just goes back to work.
Do you mind if I look around? You've quite an amazing workspace.
Oh, I do. Yeah, sure. Help yourself. Just mind the fire that will burn you.
Yes. No, that was my plan. I appreciate the concern. Thank you very much. Find it my investigate thing.
All right. Yep. I'm gonna try and do some investigating as well, looking around. Let's see. $19.
Okay. Well,
You
Talia
might
is
fire.
clearly
Talia.
distracted.
so
Pretty.
Talia is very distracted by this handsome orc.
Clearly.
He has this handsome orc has worked his magic, and you are not able to find anything except this is what you do notice is that this blacksmith is when I described it as chaotic, I was not kidding. Like every surface has a pile of something. Some of them, it's obvious what they are, right? Like it's a bunch of horseshoes, or it's a bunch of nails, or it's papers. But some of them are clearly things that have no real connection. And so you immediately identify that as a doom pile. Like this guy clearly is not organizing his stuff. And he is just, he's just doing his thing. And clearly he's... Yeah. Linda, you do not see any stones. Specifically, this is anything that is, the walls of this building, with the exception of the stone for the forge. Just about everything else is kind of a Spartan, like it's either stone that does not look anything like the like that well, or like they're different color bricks. Or it's wood, but obviously the wood is far away from the furnace. And you do get a quick glimpse into the backyard, and you see like a pen with a bunch of chickens in it, but you don't see any sign of like what a stone built into a foundation or anything like that. The chicken pen is up on wooden stilts, that kind of thing. So surprisingly, considering this is a blacksmith, very little metal and almost no stone, except for the stuff that is like very obvious.
Okay. Yeah, from a different like quarry or something.
So you said you were he stops and turns around and puts his hammer on his shoulder. So you were looking for like stones like from a well, so they would be like kind of carved to be kind of round, that kind of thing, like an arch.
Yeah, exactly. And they might have some etchings on them.
I don't know about that, but I remember seeing a weird rock like that at the inn. Have you been there?
We have, but we weren't looking for them at the time. So
you should look. That guy, the guy that runs the inn, he collects all kinds of stupid things. So maybe somewhere in his collection, like historic memorabilia of the town or whatever, maybe he has the rock, or maybe he'll be able to tell you where you can find it. I don't know.
Excellent.
But I don't have one here. Mm-mm.
Well, thank you for the help.
Sure,
Indeed.
of course. You need horseshoes?
Fantastic.
I'm making horseshoes today.
We may before we leave.
All right. Well, I'm making horseshoes.
All right.
Today's horseshoe discount day, so if you need horseshoes, come find them.
That's
All right.
brilliant.
And he just goes right back to work. The one thing that you do notice, among other things, is that he is very, very efficient. And he just immediately goes back to work.
I don't think I can incite the hot orc.
You mean incite him, or make an insight check to see what he was thinking?
That.
To see if he's telling the truth.
I mean, you're welcome to do so.
Man, Talia is all flustered.
I mean, Talia, do you have any reason to believe that you might need to check to see if he was telling the truth?
I did not. It was a suggestion from the peanut gallery. I don't think Talia thinking he's lying to her.
All right.
She's not thinking.
Okay. Pin, are you or Preston? Anybody doing anything here other than what you already did?
Just wiping a little in the corner of the mouth.
Okay. Wow. Wow. Okay. Lesson learned for me. So next.
Listen, I'm old. I'm not dead.
When are you gonna? Where are you gonna go? Next.
To the inn.
Okay. So you head to the inn.
Scavenger hunt continue.
So the inn is just a straight shot north. And I already gave you the text for the inn. So there is playful music playing, but it is quieter because it is during the daytime, but there is someone just quietly playing a piano in the background. And there are far fewer people. There's a couple of people just kind of pulled up to the bar. But the owner from that you met last night is still walking around on the bar top, and he waves at you when he sees you, and then he sets right back to work.
I forgot his name. Does anyone remember his name?
I'll tell you his name, and we play every 2 weeks. I'll give you a little bit of a break. The owner's name, I gotta remember it. His name is Willie Waggletop.
Seriously?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Master Waggletop?
Yes.
I heard tell that you had an amazing collection related to the history of this town.
Oh, I do. He hops down loudly, and because you can actually hear it now because there's no crazy noise in the tavern, and he walks over and he points at the far wall, and the far wall has, the best I can describe it to you is it's like a trophy case. There's no trophies in it, but it's like a trophy case that's floor to ceiling, and it has a book that's sitting on its edge, like very old. A bunch of steins, some, what looks like some dried flowers in a vase that's inside of a glass case, a stone, a whole bunch of papers along the wall, some painting. Not a trophy. No trophies, believe it or not. But it does appear that there is a stone in there.
Good sir, could you tell me about this stone?
Oh, this whole thing? Yeah. On the other side of town. Well, it's not really on the other side of town. It's kind of near us, but it's whatever. There's an old well that was here. We used it to get water when the town was first formed. I was not here at the time, but it was the only way to get water back then, before other means were arranged. And it went dry eventually. And when it went dry, it was filled up, which took a long time from what I have been told, like weeks of people shoveling dirt into this thing. I'm glad I wasn't here. They'd have made me help, but that's not my thing. And eventually, folks decided to leave most of the well intact for a reason that I am not sure. We could have just knocked the whole thing over and it could have been used for pasture or a home or whatever, but they decided at the time to leave it there. And some of the stones were taken. And I do recall that that there was a stone that was put kind of in like a collection for history, and I chose to display that when I started here. I thought this town had a wonderful history, and I thought the people visiting here would love to see the stones or from the well, and these wedding steins from some of the biggest families in our town, And yeah, lots of great stuff in this treasure. In this, I call it my treasures, but it's in this town.
Mm-hmm. Well, we were thinking that the that stone is from does have some symbols inscribed in it, and it might help us. The I forgot the word. Sorry, ADHD at its finest. Shopkeep. Might help save the shopkeep from the pickle fire.
Yes.
Not that we know how it turns.
Why is
green.
it? Wait, it's. What do you mean pickle fire? Pickles are in water. How, is it that hot that it's burning pickles?
I don't believe it's burning them, but it is a rather pickly green now.
So you look at his face, and he went from like a casual, like happy to absolute horror in like a few seconds. So you mean to tell me that the fire is green now? It's changed color?
Yes.
Oh, this can't do. We need to help her. And so he immediately goes behind the he moves, and instead of climbing up on top of the bar, he goes behind it, and you hear him opening a cabinet, and you hear like dial, like he's opening a safe. I'll be right out. And you hear noises, and you hear a door, like a metal door creak open, and then you hear this weird like metal clinking sound.
It's going
Fall
into
out.
Fort Knox.
Then he stands up with this oversized chainmail helmet that
Oh my word.
that it looks like, picture a kid putting on a hat 3 sizes too big. This is just this giant's hat, and we need to help her. And then he gets down underneath, hits his head on the bar while he's trying to reach underneath. You hear more metal, and he pulls out this giant ball and chain. It's just way bigger than him. This is a small man, and he's holding this in 2 hands, and the chain just kind of rolls over his shoulder. We've got to go help her. And then so he just prepares to just stomp out of the tavern. And so he's just going.
He just goes, sir, that's not the help that she needs right now. We need to figure out.
I just need the stone.
We don't need an army. We need.
What
No.
No. And
Wait.
why? And how?
Why do you need the stone? And he turns around, and like the helmet kind of tips and covers one of his eyes. Why do you need the stone? What would that do? She's in a pickle fire.
I love
think
this
it
energy.
We think that the stone may give us information on how we can get rid of the fire without having to fight it.
And so he immediately turns, looks at the treasure wall, fixes his helmet, and just charges at it, and just swings the ball and chain up like he's gonna try and smash it. And the ball it somehow works, and the ball and chain, it just smashes right through the glass. Everything shatters and flies everywhere. His 2 waitresses shriek in like a what the heck just happened, and he reaches up and grabs the stone and says, if this would save her, do what you must. And then he hands it to you, and then he says, I'll hold my post. And then he walks right outside, and Vera and Rory, you see the tavern keep from yesterday still in his clothes, right? So he's got like his nice jacket, but with this oversized helmet with like the chainmail kind of shoulder thing and a very oversized weapon, like dragging the metal ball on the ground, walking over towards the tavern. And he just turns his back to the tavern door and just stands at attention, like a little kid pretending to be at a military parade.
I love everything about this town. People teach multiple people instead of just one student.
I'm just gonna kind of stare at him and like cock my head to the side. Just
Hot blacksmiths, crazy gnomes. This is the
very
best town
confused.
ever. Best town ever.
All right.
So you have the
We
stone.
have one. We have one.
We have one.
We have one. All right. Why don't we? We're not far from the well. Why don't we go put this one in and just see how many
If it
more we
does
need to
anything?
find? What was that?
Oh, nothing. You see if it fits. That's what I said.
Ah. We can see how many more we need to find.
I think we had established that there were 5 holes.
5? That's right.
Mhm.
Perfect.
So what are you gonna do? You have a very panicked gnome, like right next to that store. He's freaking out.
Kind gnome, because I forgot your name again. Do you happen to know anyone else who has any stones like this, Mr. Willie?
Well,
Yes, wellstones.
I think that. So I have the one, and I gave you one. They are historical objects, so perhaps the mistress of the schoolhouse may be able to help. She may know more. They were taken by, if I have it because it was a piece of history, so I would assume other people who thought that it was a piece of history would have it too. If you go past the town, or past the general store, there are a few houses. There's a cottage almost on the way out of town that has a man who doesn't ever really leave his house. He's a very old man. We have several very old men here. This is the oldest of the old men. And he doesn't really ever leave his house. He actually pays to have one of my waitresses bring him things, because he doesn't really like to leave. If anyone would hold on to a rock, aside from me, he would definitely have one.
Thank you. That's incredibly helpful. We appreciate it very much. I'm sorry about your cabinet.
What?
Because he destroyed his cabinet.
Oh, I thought you said cat. Oh, the cabinet will be fine. We can rebuild that. But you needed the stone. It's important. We need to save the general store.
True. Grandma Tollway would have slapped me at that. But okay, cool. To the cabin.
You want to see, since that's on the outskirts, if
this one fits.
Rory. Well, let's see if that one, and maybe Odavira and Rory should come with us, since we're not going to be right
I
at the
agree.
center.
Yeah.
They were watching.
Come get
so
us.
they're right
Yes.
outside.
Well, so let's go tell them first. Update. Besides seeing the crazy gnome.
Sure.
All right. We'll catch you folks up.
Sure.
That gnome needs some chamomile tea, y'all.
Yeah. Be a little sedative there too.
As you make it up to Rory and Odavira, you see him.
Also, didn't they say one of the stone might be in this tree?
The blacksmith, was it the dwarf had suggested a couple places, and I wrote them down so we can make the rounds on that too if we want. If we
Yeah,
need.
but they're
in the tree
they're
was
sitting
one
next
of
to the tree.
exactly. But the tree was one of the ones that dwarf suggested. Yes, so we can look around while we're there.
Anybody have a way of finding out if there's some stones in this tree?
Rory, with your expertise on nature, is there any way you could look closely at the tree, look if there's any indications it might have grown around something?
I don't know, DM. With my
Steve,
favored terrain as a forest, which happen to have a lot of trees,
I think
able
that is very possible. Why don't you give me a nature check and an investigation check? Nature first, then investigation.
If if we can get eyes on the stone, if it's buried underneath roots and it would take forever to try to dig it out, as long as we can see it, I can get it out.
Excellent.
Well, I'm envisioning, if you think of like how like signs that get put on trees and it grows it around, and it like you can tell it's grown around something because it like sticks out. But I'm kind of envisioning like if they put it on a branch or something.
So, your nature check was successful, in that you recall what it looks like when things that are kind of like foreign bodies get stuck in or next to a tree and they kind of grow around it. So you know what kind of patterns to look for in the bark, and you know what a tree is supposed to look like when it grows uninterrupted, and that it would look very different if there was a big old rock stuck in it. I will let you make this investigation check with advantage because you are so smart and cool. Would you look at that? Yeah, as a matter of fact, you work your way around the tree, kind of at eye level, right? You're just kind of feeling around and looking, and you do notice as you get to the east side of the tree, kind of facing the east of town, you come across a kind of bump in the tree bark that is, big enough that it is really couldn't be just weird tree growing or a branch getting knocked off or something like that. So it stands to reason that if there were rocks stuck in there, that it grew around, it would probably be there.
Okay. Can I take my dagger and kind of like pick the bark in that area?
I mean, you're welcome to try anything. Tell me what you're doing. I'll tell you if it works or not.
I'm going to pick the bark in this area and see if I can see anything underneath it.
Sure. So, you pull out a knife and start kind of cutting away at the bark gently. And you do notice, after a little bit of effort, that there is a stone, that you start to see what looks like a stone revealed underneath it.
Okay. And this tree is like wide enough that if we were to like wedge out this piece, it's not going to like tip the tree over, right?
Oh, no. This is a big old tree. This is like this is, no. It's like 20 feet across. This is like a giant tree.
This is the sun tree. Got it. I'm going to call Talia over and have her take her axe out and try to like wedge out where the rock is.
Do we want to?
Do you have another strategy?
I don't have an axe.
You don't have an axe? What do you have? Greatsword? You're stronger than I am, and I have a bow. So
I think I don't want to risk cutting into the tree and risk damaging the rock because it has to fit into the right spot. I don't want to chip it. I don't think these rocks are magical.
Do we think that the rock needs to be placed back, or do we just need to figure out what runes or inscriptions are on them and speak a word?
I think the full message will spell out if we get all the rocks, bring it back to the well, and plug them into the right spot. I think the words on the rocks need the context of the things that are around it. Or at least the position in the wall where all the holes for the rocks are.
Do you have another suggestion for getting it out?
Certainly. Magic. So my question is, I have the power to teleport people. My question is, can I use something that allows me to teleport people on an object?
What spell?
It's called Vortex Warp.
I'm going to go into my mind palace.
And by mind palace, it means I'm going to send you the link.
No, you may not. Oh, this is very clearly a thing you do to a person. So no, you may not use Vortex Warp on an object because it is not a person. or a creature.
I apologize. The teleportation magic that I use requires the consciousness and living essence of a creature in order to focus the energies. This is an inanimate object. I cannot manipulate it thus.
Does anyone have an actual axe?
Wait, we know a blacksmith. I think he could chunk out around it to not damage the stone.
That's better.
I'm sure he has a tool.
I don't know.
I mean,
Mess up
anyway.
my great sword on a tree.
That's fair.
Let's go ask the blacksmith if he can assist us.
I'm gonna stay out here.
All right, I'm
just gonna kind of look at you like, why?
I'm gonna stay at the tree and just study my notes.
Okay. So Pin, who else is going with Pin to go?
Who's coming with me?
To go meet the blacksmith. Vera's gonna go meet the blacksmith.
I'll go meet the blacksmith. That sounds
All right.
nice. I like making new friends.
Yes.
So as the three of you enter the blacksmith shop, the two of you that have not been there see absolute chaos. Every surface of every table is covered with piles of something. Some of them are piles of the same thing. Some of them are piles of similar things. Some of them, at least one of them, has a pile of you don't know how they're all connected. It's crazy. And you see a very, very built, strong orc with an oversized blacksmith hammer doing his work. And as the door opens, and as it shuts behind you as you walk in, he turns and says, "Hey, you're back, and you brought 2 new friends."
I did, and we actually have a favor to ask you.
You do? Is it horseshoes?
Not yet. It's kind of a strange request. I'm sorry, but we found the stones we were looking for that we asked you about.
Yes.
We're pretty sure we found one in the large tree in the center of town. And we don't have an axe to try to take it out without damaging the tree or our warrior's beautiful sword. And we wondered if you had an axe and perhaps the skill to use it.
Wait. Tell me you didn't try and hurt the tree.
No. Just poked at it really gently.
You carved in the tree?
No.
I just took off some bark.
So he gets visibly okay. So you didn't. Okay. So no, I don't. I mean, I do have tools that could help get bark off of that tree, but it's against the law to carve that tree.
We're not carving, we're extricating something that's in it.
I mean, I'm not sure I know what that means, but does it involve a pointy thing going through the bark?
It's going to need to if we're going to save the innkeeper.
Well, that's not my decision. I'm just telling you what the law says. I cannot help you open that up. If the sheriff tells me that I have to, I'll help. But I would need the sheriff and the mayor to tell me to open it up.
Where are the sheriff and the mayor?
You're direct. Well, the sheriff is often around these times. The sheriff is often doing his rounds, so I would bet that he would be coming back from some of the outside, so from some of the farther out farms pretty soon. He comes back around midday, and the mayor would probably be in his office.
All right, then we will go check with them and come back if we still require your services with their blessings, of course.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I would definitely need them to tell me. If they tell me, I'll do it. But I
thank you for explaining. We had no idea that was a law.
No idea.
That's
Thank you for telling us.
Letting us know.
Yeah. Maybe they should put a sign there.
Really should.
And so he kind of gets back to work, but he is visibly shaken. He's missing the target with the hammer a little bit.
Ooh.
The entire time we were talking to him, Rory was just cleaning up the small piles and organizing what she could in her small space.
He didn't notice it at all.
That's fine. It was helping her.
Okay. All right. So you leave, and the town opens up before you. with a new mission to find the sheriff and the mayor, maybe other stones.
Can I go back to the stone? I want to go back to the stone. I'm not going to ask now. I'm going to go back to the stone.
She learns, everybody. She learns.
And
which stone? The stone in the tree?
the stone in the tree. I'm not going to like pick it out or anything. I just want to see if there's any runic inscription or whatever that we could visibly see on the outside of it.
No. It just, the more you look at it, the more absolutely clear to you it is that there is something behind that. But there's nothing like writing. It just looks like, like bark grew over it. It almost, just because of the shape of everything, it almost looks like a sarcastic smile. Just the way that the bark kind of grew over it and came together. It's almost like the tree is looking at you like, hey, you can't get in here.
What if we, because they mentioned the mayor's office. That was mentioned by the dwarf. And now the blacksmith needs permission from the mayor for us to get to that stone we just found. So maybe we go to the mayor's office, see if he has a stone, give him the rundown of what's going on, and see if he can give us permission to get that other one out.
Sure.
To the mayor's office?
Yeah.
I think that's necessary.
Okay.
So there is one problem.
Okay.
You don't know where that is.
Okay.
Because as of right now, no one has told you where it is.
I'm going to go walk up to the little gnome standing guard outside of the tavern.
The tavern
and ask
key.
him and ask him where the mayor's office is.
Oh, he points at the building across from the general store. It's like a smaller building. It is... Wait, hold on. I can do it. It's right here for you guys watching the map. But it's like a small building right across from the general store.
Beautiful. Thank you. And I'll just point at it and make eye contact with everybody and start walking that way.
Sure.
Following Rory.
As you get there,
Yep.
Wouldn't you know it? There's a sign on the outside door that says Mayor's Office. There's a sign underneath it that says The Mayor Is, and then a list of a bunch of locations and like a little, like a little,
Is it like a little arrow slider?
No, it's a little wooden figurine of a top hat. So it's like a little dude in a top hat, like that you peg in, and it's right next to here.
Oh my goodness, I want one of these for my classroom.
The witch is in. Awesome. Let's go.
Here we go.
Man, I reach into my satchel and I grab my magician's top hat and put it on. Still
I
in the
see
back.
your
Just
hat.
for a little flair.
I
Just
see
for a
your
little
hat
flair.
is as big as mine. Okay, so
My hat game. If one thing that's good about Preston, he's got a really good hat game.
all right. So do you open bonus possum? Just so you open the door, do you open the door or knock? Is my question. I shouldn't make assumptions.
Gonna knock.
Okay. So you
Let's give it a 3 knock.
a 3 knock? Okay. I'm totally gonna make that a thing. That actually really is a useful. Wait. Oh wow, a 9. Wow, we got
I'm
a 3.
kidding.
I was like a 9. Whoa.
Totally kidding.
Tully's
That thing is off the freaking engine. No. I'm not
Steve,
even knocking.
sidebar. This should be a TikTok
Rory's in the
on what
front.
each level is.
Oh,
for
we
knocking.
should. We should.
We should.
Absolutely.
Okay, sorry, sidebar.
We'll have to do that.
Door.
Okay. So you put a gentle 3 knock. And you and as you knock, you hear like, some papers getting shuffled, and you hear some, and then you hear come in.
I kind of like put myself forward, and I try to take point on this.
Hello. I'm a little I'm working, but what do you need? And you see a halfling in a very nice coat and a very big top hat, sitting at a desk with just papers everywhere. And so he is it's clearly paperwork day. So he's sorting through papers, and as you see him, he does not stop moving. He is always fidgeting with a piece of paper, sorting stuff, putting stuff down, straightening it up, doing that. So even though I'm not going to pantomime that because I don't want to tire myself out, just imagine that he does not stop moving, ever.
I recognize that neurodiversity. So I kind of tip my hat to him and I say, we have important business with you, Mr. Mayor, in an attempt to assist the general store manager with their current flaming predicament.
Oh, yes. What are you going to do?
We have a working, as adventurers, we have a working theory as to what might help us disable the circles of flame. But we think that stones of the old well may have had a passcode or pass key or some insight on how to disable this flame. However, one of those stones seems to have grown into the side of your great tree in the center of town.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
That is unfortunate.
Well, that means we can't get at it.
Well, I understand that it is against this town's rules and regulations to needlessly or recklessly harm the tree in the center of town. However, we ask on behalf of the general store manager, who cannot currently advocate for themselves, special dispensation to carefully and expertly extract the stone from the wood tree.
And you need that one stone? There's no other stones that'll work?
Well, there are many. That is one of them.
Oh, well, here's this. And so he hops down while you're talking. He's still sorting papers, by the way. And you hear a drawer just open, and he pulls out a rock that looks like one of those. Do you need one of these? Can you just find all of them except that one and see if that works? Because here's the thing. If I let brigands cut into the tree, I would be run out of town.
It doesn't even need to be us. We are simply petitioning.
Anyone who cuts into that tree is a brigand. We can't let that. We can't. We'd have to find another way. But here's mine.
Thank you. Do you happen to know where the sheriff might be?
How big is this stone that I'm?
I mean, it's not obnoxiously big. These stones, I probably should have given you. I probably should have made a prop or something. Actually, they are. They're like this big. Like
a loaf of bread size.
Like it's bigger than it's. You know what? It is the size of a bread box. It is neither bigger nor smaller than a bread box.
There we go.
Eat that 20 questions.
All right, so I am currently holding a bread box.
And it's heavy. So, it sucks for you to hold it, Preston. But, it's not like, you should probably give it to Talia. But it's a thing. So, if you find all the other ones, maybe find the other ones. I bet you, I don't know, maybe, did you talk to the blacksmith? He might have some.
He did not.
He doesn't?
Unfortunately.
Does he?
He actually suggested you as one of the places to try.
Well, he was right. Of course I'm going to have one. I'm the mayor. Did you go to the schoolhouse? Did you ask her?
We did 2 weeks ago, and she did not have one.
Are you sure?
You know what?
I would check
we weren't
again.
Specific enough. We should ask her again.
I would check again. She would know who else would have one. I just assume the blacksmith has everything. Have you seen those tables? He has something. There's something in every one of those piles. I've never gone in there and not found something interesting.
mean, we can
I know
definitely check again.
Rory would love to go back in there and check on the piles.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll go check that. And so, Mr. Mayor, what we will do is we will try to gather all the stones except the one in the tree. But if we cannot decipher the password without that final stone, we will be coming back.
Actually,
Is that a threat?
No,
something?
no,
Mr.
because
Mayor,
we'll need. No,
I have an idea that may require that we do not extract, but we need something conveniently from your office. You seem to be doing paperwork day. Can we have a blank sheet of paper and maybe a large piece of charcoal or pencil?
Yeah, but he definitely has blank paper. He shuffles
Fantastic.
through another drawer and like kind of tips over a little bit in his chair as it just was not ready. And he comes up with a giant like roll of paper and just hands it over. And you need charcoal.
Something in which to make a.
Oh, you need that. Got it. And then so he spins his chair around like twice. I'm glad I didn't have my headphones plugged in. And he comes back with inexplicably a lump of charcoal.
Fantastic. I'm sorry to surprise you all with my sudden insight, but I at least want to try making a rubbing of the stone that is in the tree in an attempt to try to like pull some of the characters off.
we can do that without disturbing the tree. That would be ideal.
You mean like Rory was trying to do with her eyes? And
Well,
we
sometimes
couldn't?
things can be subtle enough that you can't pick them up.
I thought it wasn't visible through the bark.
That is correct that it was not visible.
Well, I just want to try.
Get a bark rubbing?
Get a stone rubbing. Like try to get at the stone with the paper and go.
Sure.
See if
Bark.
something gets.
Stone.
I'm
I'm visualizing this wrong.
I don't know.
Am I incorrect in my description? Because the way I
Can't see the stone at all.
the way I described it, the way I thought it was being described is that Dana had like picked at the bark until we saw a piece of exposed stone.
You saw a little. Okay, so that was me providing a brief description. She cut through enough bark to see that there was a stone clearly below it, but she did not uncover enough stone that you would be able to see what was on the stone. You just know that it's there. I think that is probably a good thing, because if she had carved off enough of the bark to reveal the full stone, then this would be like a GTA 5 stars situation.
Fair enough. Well, at least I now have.
You now have paper and charcoal,
which allows me to assemble. Once we have all the other ones, we can kind of like puzzle out what the full phrase could be and write it down on this piece of paper, and then hand it back to there when we're done. So in case random pickle fire again, they'll have the passphrase handy.
Fair enough. Well, because we do know the passphrase is not pickles. Unless the goal is to make the fire turn green. At which point, then the password absolutely is pickles. So the mayor, as soon as you guys kind of like turn your back and walk away, he goes back to there's like a pile of papers in the center, and he grabs a quill and starts, signing and writing and doing his work. Where do you go next?
Well, okay. Thank you for letting me help. I'm just going to go assess my notes some more.
Shall we try the schoolhouse again, or back to the blacksmith to check out the tables?
Yeah, the tables. We
Tables?
we should go. we should give Talia a break. Give her
That's
poor
true.
heart a break.
She needs to bring her blood pressure down a little first.
Yeah.
We'll go to the schoolhouse first.
I think it's the schoolhouse, which will increase her happiness levels being
There we
around
go.
teachers.
Sure.
So, you know where the schoolhouse is. You walk across the I don't know, I don't want to call it a courtyard, the center of town. And the schoolhouse, the front door of the schoolhouse is actually wide open, and you see the teacher sitting at her desk, pretty much exactly where she was yesterday, doing exactly the same thing she was doing. If you didn't know better, you would suspect that she never left.
Because she didn't. No. Talia, would you like to go, since you have such a wonderful rapport with her? And
I'm good. I talked to her last time. Why don't you guys try?
All right.
Sorry to put you on the spot, Talia.
I asked her last time and she said no. So apparently, go for it. I know for a fact I asked her about the stones last time. So you guys, she lied to me apparently. So go ahead.
Oh, hurt feelings.
That's fair.
Understood. I see you. All right, Penn, you want to give it a shot? And if you can't give it a
Sure.
shot, I'll really pour the honey on.
I think that's a fantastic idea. I'll give it a shot. Okay. So I'm going to go up to the open door and just up to the doorway and knock on the door frame and call in, "Hello, we're back again.
Hello.
Wanted to chat some more."
Sure. So as you look in to the to the schoolroom, you see the desks are more or less where they were yesterday. They've been moved around a little bit. There's no kids in there today, but she is sitting at her desk, and on either side of her are on one side is a very big stack of papers, and to her left is another stack of a shorter stack of papers being weighed down by a brick, a big brick-looking thing.
I'm going to go take a little closer look at that paperweight. And I'm going to say to her, "I've never seen a paperweight quite like that one. Is that a stone from the well by chance?"
I never thought of it. This has been here. I mean, it's a bit large for a paperweight, but it's been kind of around my desk, and I've just used it for that forever. I don't know. I never really thought about it. Can I have an insight check?
Of course.
And anybody that can see her clearly can make that check.
See how insightful I am. Oh, I'm not insightful at all. Hope somebody else is more insightful.
So, do you need this?
Can I take a closer look at it, please?
Oh, yeah, yes. And so, Preston, you get the sense that she is super embarrassed. Like, just the her face. Whoa, Olivera. Okay, so, she is like bright red. Like, I can't believe I sent you all over town to get rocks or get these stones, and like I had one the whole time, like that kind of thing. So no, of course, if you need this, take it. And she tries to lift it. It's a bit of a struggle. Not the teachers aren't strong, but she was not expecting to have to lift this thing.
It's not heavy. It's bulky.
Yeah, it's just weird. So, yes, if you need this, go ahead and take it.
We do. Thank you so much for that.
And she immediately just kind of buries her head in her work. Thank you. Let me know if I can help you with anything else. I'm sorry.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Doff my hat, even though I know that she's not paying attention.
And as soon as you leave, for the first time, you actually see that she stands up. She's actually much taller than you thought she was. She walks over and shuts the door behind you.
Mm.
Well, I guess that's that then. Should we go tell Talia that it wasn't a lie, that it was a mistake?
I think so.
I think her feelings are hurt. You want to tell her?
The teacher was very embarrassed.
True. All right, I'm gonna go tell her because I like delivering good news. So I'm gonna
tell
go
her
do
the
it.
good news.
Talia, guess what? She didn't lie to you. She just didn't think about that stone on her desk at all as a well stone. And she was really embarrassed by it. Because she had us running around the entire town, and there was a stone right there. So, she didn't lie to you.
Okay.
I was hoping that the good news would be better.
I don't believe her. Okay, to the next thing.
All right. So this will brighten your day. To the blacksmith.
That's gonna be a freaking trope now. Great.
So we have 3 now.
We have 3. We have the one from the inn, the one from the schoolhouse, the one from the mayor, and we know where the one
No,
is.
the tree is, and then
We know
there's
the
the old
tree.
dude in the cabin and the sheriff.
Yeah, I think it's 5, right? 5 or 6.
It should be 5.
5. So we
So,
need to get 4.
We know about 4, and there's potentially 2 people who might have the other one.
Yeah, and remember, and knowing that we have to basically do this with incomplete information, so that we are not branded brigands as we make our merry way.
Well, for all we know, the old dude might have a way of getting it out of there.
Potentially, but the thing is it's very important for us to be able to resupply for our 2-week voyage, 2-week trek to the capital, and I wouldn't like to be branded as brigands before we have an opportunity to resupply. You know,
Pretty sure. Right. So,
Well, let's see what happens. Do we want to check with the blacksmith first? Because the mayor had said to check his tables specifically.
didn't you do that?
Not explicitly. So, I mean, just like we found out
Unless
with the
Rory
teacher-
found something. Rory, did you find something in there? Did you find any
No.
like weird looking stones?
No, just a lot of odds and ends that made absolutely no sense together, but I did what I could.
When he said check the tables, could he have meant the physical construction of the tables, as if the table had like some type of stone structure as its base?
I don't know,
Then it
DM,
has
were
to-
We can
the
look.
tables made of metal? Were they made of stone? Were they
Nope.
made of
All right. Just wanted to ask the question.
Well, before we
I'm gonna
head
go back
to the
to-
outskirts of town, why don't we just circle back, see if we just didn't look thoroughly? Because sometimes we don't notice things. Have you ever realized, like, I know sometimes I don't notice things that I should
Yeah.
notice.
Just let me know what I need to do.
That's fair.
Let me know when I need to do some investigating. I need to check my notes and maybe blow my nose a little bit. I'll be back.
All right, shall we just go check back in before we... And then if we don't find anything there, then we check with that old man on the outskirts of town. Perfect. All right.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right,
So-
back to the blacksmith.
You head to the blacksmith. You open the door, because this place, at this point, you practically own the joint. And he is, you see him working. He he's recovered from being visibly shaken about the tree, because you see him back working efficiently as usual. He's very clearly making horseshoes as the pile of horseshoes is bigger. He turns around and says, "Hey, are you ready for those horseshoes? I got plenty now."
What are you gonna say about the horseshoes, Pin?
Did we need horseshoes?
I didn't realize we needed horseshoes. I don't understand.
No,
I
either.
had told him
You and I
that-
were not in this.
No. We're still looking for the stones, and then we'll check and see if our horses need new shoes.
Oh, did you get permission from the mayor and the sheriff for me to chop the tree?
No.
Not yet.
Oh.
However, the mayor specifically said we should look more closely around the shop here because he said there's so many old artifacts just scattered about on your tables that we should go look. So we're doing what the mayor said, and we would like your permission to
Well,
just
if it's
go look
mayor's
closely around the
orders,
table.
If it's mayor's orders, toss the joint. Just Just don't get near the fire, because I don't know how to fix people if they get burned.
Yes, we will.
Unless
avoid
you
the
can
fire.
fix people to get burned. I mean, that's you.
I mean,
I
we have someone that
could.
can do that.
I'm
I mean,
pretty skilled at fixing people.
But if you're gonna
you fix things that need like.
If you're gonna jump in my forge, at least warn me.
I don't think
then he
anyone's
just-
gonna jump in your forge, man. But I will let you know if I get the urge to jump in the fire. Actually, all I see here is it's just this very efficient cookie baking, quite frankly. So like.
I'm not baking
dirty,
cookies.
but-
I'm not baking cookies. I'm making horseshoes.
I mean, I know you're making horseshoes, but all I can see when I look at your forge is horseshoes and maybe horseshoe-shaped cookies. So anyway, we're just gonna go take a quick
Exactly.
peek.
Yeah. Was that an investigation? Marie?
It was. I'm checking out the forge.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Let's investigate.
The forge specifically.
Yup.
So can you tell me where you are looking in the forge? Like the outside of it, the inside.
so
What are you looking?
I'm
at
basing
the
this
fire?
on the forge from Sturbridge Village.
Yeah. Honestly, can somebody get an image of the Sturbridge Village forge and put it in the chat for the viewers? But yes,
Terrifyingly,
okay.
I might have a picture with me and the forge. So hang on.
Okay, if you have that, you can put it up to the camera. That's fine. Okay, so yes, this is that forge. I've been at that exact forge. Well, I mean, this is what happens when we all live in Connecticut.
We all live in Connecticut. I've been
Sturbridge
there.
Village is like what you do. It's like an old colonial, like maybe even pre-colonial village where they do reenactments. Amanda, that's the deal. So it's like you can go and visit, like
Very cool.
So like the kids go there, and it's near a seaport.
Yeah.
There's like
No.
it's not near it, but they're
You're thinking-
related,
you're
aren't they
thinking-
related?
You're thinking Mystic. You're blending the two, and it's not.
Yeah.
It's not Plymouth.
Guess what? I live in Connecticut. They're all 5 minutes away. Sturbridge Village is the kids go on field trips there all the time. It's wild. I haven't been there in 30 years. Give me a break.
Yep.
Linda's been there at least twice a year.
No, my kids are too young. They do it in my children did it in 5th grade. The older kids.
It's not letting me put it in there.
Oh,
so
is it trying to block? Is it trying to block the image?
Oh,
I should be able to allow it. Let me go to Twitch.
It wouldn't even let me.
Oh, it won't.
So but seeing as might.
can
be
you
able
drop it
to?
in the chat so Steve can post it?
Oh, I can totally do that.
I just did.
You
I
can
can
share
do that.
screen too, though, can't you?
Oh no, I got it. I can do it. No, this is actually okay, for real. We're gonna do this more often. Here we go. So here we are at the blacksmith shop. There's a random GIF playing in the background, everybody. My players have a secret chat that I can't see because I'm viewing. Hopefully they don't say mean things about me. So you're in this blacksmith shop. This
You
is
like me knock down the door?
okay. So let's be honest. Let's describe this together for our audio listeners, if there happen to be any, or if you're just.
Do you want me
Doing
to? I
dishes?
was there.
Oh,
I go there a lot.
this is describe it. Only this is way more orderly than what is actually happening here, because this is well designed and well laid out, and
All
probably
right,
less
so,
dangerous.
For those in the northeast, you can visit Sturbridge Village in Sturbridge, Massachusetts. I highly recommend it. It's very peaceful. So what we're looking at right now is a stone building. The forge itself is made from brick, which is why I thought the stone might be in there. There are multiple hammers, anvils, and tongs hanging from the front of the forge. Behind that, which is like an iron bar with those hanging on it. Behind that, we can kind of see, now I don't know the exact words. You can see one of the working areas. It's a metal, not surprisingly, a long metal workspace. It's flat. And then behind that is the actual fire. You can see some flame there, but really it's the red hot coals under the chimney of the forge. There is a little covering, almost a roof leaning over the coals. And then into the chimney are the two vents. They are quite large. And one of the gentlemen in the picture is controlling the vents with a pulley system, and if I remember correctly, one side of the vent opens when the other closes, and that's how they control the airflow to control the heat of the forge. And then on the opposite side on the left, you see the actual blacksmith, and he is working some metal in the coals. And then around that are multiple tables, and they are covered with paraphernalia. There's large vices, there's a ceramic coffee, nails, hammers, anvils, metal pots. There's water in several of them because that's what the work area has water in it, so that they can
Temper the steel.
And then behind that is, against the wall, all of the other paraphernalia that they would have. And there's like some old metal keys hanging up in some places, a lot of horseshoes. You can't see them so well in this shot, but they are hanging up above on the walls. I think the top left of the image, you can see some of the horseshoes that are hanging on the ceiling.
So which part of that, thank you for that description. Which part of that are you heavily inspecting? Because you did a good roll.
So I was inspecting the stones that made up the forge. I know enough to keep away from the fire itself, but like, see how the base is all stone, and then the chimney, that was what I was focusing on.
Sure. So we get, so what you do, he's not stopping you. I mean, he's still working, because he clearly has to make a lot of horseshoes. I don't know for who, but it's horseshoe day, so he's not skipping it. So you are able to walk up to the forge itself, and you kind of put your hand around towards the bottom, not near the fire, and you put your hands around trying to see if there are any bricks that would be the same size or shape of some of the other bricks that you've seen. And there is one towards the bottom that is not curved like the other ones, but it looks like it's made of the same stuff. And it is, being that it is a stone that is kind of built into a forge, it is soot covered and dirty. And it looks like you can see somebody's been scraping their boots off on it. It's kind of grody, but you can definitely see a stone that is the same shape, and it is a different kind of rock as some of the other bricks that are used to build it. And yes, Rory, I did see that you are cleaning piles. My
investigation was a 7, which means I'm just focused on cleaning.
That's all you're doing. And you know what? That's fine. I'll allow it. You're just sorting through his piles. It is worth mentioning, he absolutely notices that you are cleaning his piles, but you notice him noticing you, and then he notices you noticing him, and he kind of just gives a nervous sigh, and then just gets back to work, and it's just fine. Just tipping. Just not tipping, just smashing. Just, nope, not that either. Just hitting with a hammer.
What'd you say, Marie?
I said Preston and Pin, and I was trying to get their attention.
Did you find something?
I think Preston is studying his notes.
Oh, okay. I think this might be it.
Look up from my notes.
I think this one might be it. What do you two think?
So she points out a stone to you that is approximately the same shape. It is not rounded. It doesn't look or appear to be kind of rounded like the others.
Right?
Well, isn't one of them supposed to be like a lozenge shaped? Like, if memory serves me right, there's one that was supposed to look triangular-ish. There were a couple of them that were brick shaped.
Yeah, this one, it doesn't look like a perfect match for what you guys had in mind, but it is clearly a different kind of stone as all of the other bricks that are there. And one of the other things that you notice is that it is kind of dingy and grimy, soot covered, and like I said, it looked like somebody was scraping their boot off on it. Someone stands to reason it's the blacksmith.
So I'm just gonna take out my wand and kind of prestidigitation over that stone and gently clean it so we can get a better look at it.
Okay, as soon as you clean it, you get the sense when the magic of the wand washes over it. First off, power washing simulator. Like, this is the most satisfying cleaning you have ever seen. And Preston, when you start and you feel that satisfaction of cleaning it, you're just in all auto, like you're in auto mode at this point. It's like you can't even stop. I have to clean. And while this is going, you just feel compelled to keep cleaning the whole thing. This is power. You're going for 100% on this power washing puzzle. Just as he cleans it, and this dust kind of falls away, kind of disappears because it's not making it wet. This is just perfect cleaning. You definitely notice that the stone becomes much more recognizable. It's still a shape that you weren't expecting, but it is clearly a recognizable stone. And you start to see, it looks like the part where he was scraping his boot off looked like it was a letter. Which is why he was able to scrape his boot off on it, right? Because there was like the little parts and all that.
Like,
like it was raised out,
textured. Yep.
Yeah. So he was able to catch the stuff on there, and what you see is an H in the common tongue.
Fantastic. As part of the power wash simulator prestidigitation that I'm doing, I will switch from clean to creating a gentle dust so that I can make sure that all the particulates just settle.
Oh yeah. So I assumed that you were being courteous to everybody else around you and weren't like just freaking crazy air, like power washing it with Talia right next to it. Like, check the rebound on this.
When you said power washing.
Oh, I just meant the satisfying, like, row by row of grime disappearing.
Oh.
Not that I gave you a power washer.
Just clarify, Preston has been known for spontaneous, unexpected.
Oh, I know. Trust me. When you do something and it transports your whole team to the Fey realm, I'll let you know.
Sure.
So you see the stone, and it is an H. And yes, he is very respectful of the people around him while he power washes. As the grime kind of settles to the ground in like a neat little pile, and you have an H.
Fantastic. I do believe we have a clue. I don't think we can extract this stone, though, from this without damaging the integrity. However, the most important thing on it is the letter. So now we have it. I'm just going to go back to cleaning this forge because it's very relaxing.
When you say that, the blacksmith guy turns around and sees you with the wand, just like line by line cleaning the forge, and he just everybody just sees him kind of give you a look. The look that you are getting from him is pure confusion. He doesn't know what's happening. He doesn't know why it's happening. He doesn't really, and he obviously has no idea who is doing it. He just knows that somehow his forge is being cleaned, and he doesn't need it to be, but he's like kind of cool with it, but also very weirded out all at the same time. All of those emotions come through, all through this one look.
This very gaunt man who is dressed quite nicely with a top hat and very immaculate gloves with a wand, just gently cleaning the forge, going back and forth. Cleaning happy little stones. Power washing those happy little stones.
As long as there's happy little trees.
Yeah. It's like the opposite. No, you paint happy little trees. I'm cleaning happy little stones.
All right, that's fine.
So,
And so while you're going, he says, "Okay, so I guess you found something?"
Yes, we did, sir. But I'm not quite sure that my search is complete. So give me a moment to finish my search. Yes, my search.
I think you're good. I think you're good. And so he kind of moves over and just kind of like gently.
Did you just mind that spot right there? I know it's the pile.
And he just kind of kicks it over kind of gently, and then he just kind of says, "Okay, I need to make some more horseshoes. Can you guys?"
But don't touch the dirt.
I'm not gonna. This whole place is dirt.
The dirt. And I grab a broom and a dustpan from somewhere, from magic space, and I just clean. I sweep up after all the stuff that I cleaned. And I was like, there.
Is Preston a tortoise?
No. Well, he might be. Preston is magic.
Preston is magic, and I have a hat of unusual size.
So so as you start to do that, he grabs a piece of his apron and just kind of whips you and just sends you away.
You've been shooed away.
Get out of here.
I dropped the broom. I dropped the broom and dustpan.
I don't even have a broom. Where did that come from?
I guess I conjured a small like hand broom using prestidigitation.
Sure.
It broke my concentration. It just shattered into confetti.
I'll allow it. That's not how prestidigitation works, but I'm gonna let it be. Today only, you can make a hand broom. So thanks. Let me know when you need more horseshoes, everybody. And then so he just goes back to work. And again,
Can you make me a horseshoe? I want a memento.
Oh yeah, take one.
Oh.
Everybody want one? He turns around and he's very excitedly. It's like 5 horseshoes coming right up. And he gives you a horseshoe, and you get a horseshoe, and you get a horseshoe. Everybody gets a horseshoe.
Perfect. Now remember, when you hang these up, they must
Horseshoe
have
balls.
the opening up so the luck doesn't fall out.
Right.
Oh. Cool.
Oh, you wanted to make a horseshoe. Okay, walking away. And then later, I put it in like my component pouch because I'm like,
Yeah. So what you guys all have are 5. Hi. There's a kid. We have a kid. When there's a kid that comes on screen, everybody's got to wave.
Child alert.
Everybody wave to the kid.
Be talented too, guys. Just saying.
Yep, very talented kid. When talented kids show up on screen, you got to extra wave. I know we haven't done that with, so that's the new rule, Amanda. Your kids haven't come yet today. We got to wave at them when they show up.
They have not.
They're worried about me. But I have 2 boys at camp. There's no way they're getting on this camera. And I wouldn't want them to. They'd probably say something inappropriate.
Oh my gosh! Wait, isn't Fellbutton playing with a forge?
Yes, as a matter of fact, he is. He's welding this week.
Oh, okay.
He's welding, so it's a little different. Okay, so you leave the blacksmith shop. All 5 of you have, each of you has 1 very well-crafted horseshoe. Very impressed. Very impressed. Where are you going next?
Impressed.
So, and you have one of the stones, and it is an H.
All right, so we know we have 4. We know 1. We have the other. We have 3. Shall we go see if we can decipher it with a missing letter?
I think that's a great idea. Preston had an
Try.
idea about trying with the charcoal and the paper, so
yeah,
Let's
but
see.
wait, I think this is a matter of deduction because now we have to find a 5. If the stone only had a single character on it, so it is potentially likely we are looking for a 5-letter word that has an H in it.
Okay, so
Which is good.
So if we
Is it
examine the
worse?
other stones, what can we see letters on the other stones that we have in our possession?
Seriously though, is it horse? He said horseshoe like a bajillion. The last time someone said a word multiple times, so I ran and yelled it at the fire and it turned green. So I'm gonna.
I mean,
No.
you're welcome to go yell horse at the fire and see what happens.
I don't want to give that gnome a heart attack.
Yo, he might lose his mind.
Yeah,
he's already having a moment.
He's already
all of a sudden
an
the
11.
barrier just whinnies, and then
He doesn't need to be at a 22.
Yeah, he doesn't need to double that. Okay, so I would like everyone who is looking at these stones to and you've been like hauling around. These are not. I mean, they're heavy for like super old guy, but like they're not crazy light. And so you pull out your. So now you have three. You have 3 stones. You saw a 4th
I
one.
lift the stone.
And I would like investigation checks.
Odavira.
Oh.
One of your divine cantrips. I don't know what those
Yes.
are called.
Thanks
I
to
can
Blur, you guys
increase-
don't have cat butt.
No, but one of them is called mending, and that lets you repair an object.
I do, in fact, have mending.
Oh,
It
good
is
lord.
one of my cantrips.
Talia, you got some
So why
rocks.
don't
I got some rocks.
I mean, if the rocks were supposed to have raised
I
letters
do
that
have
got broken off, then maybe they get repaired. Who knows?
Is this
What's
something
bad?
that I can do? Oh, Dungeon Master?
I mean, that is what mending does. Mending, the purpose of the mending cantrip is to repair broken objects.
Shockingly,
maybe,
I had it prepared.
Tree bark, if we need it.
That's
I
an
hope so.
incredibly good question, and that is a Dungeon Master's question, Michael. That is a very good question. Would mending work on tree bark? Maybe. The question is, do you want to take a chance? It's really hard to tell.
Let's investigate these
FAFO.
stones first and see if we can
Okay.
fill in the blank.
So, who? So
I
Talia
rolled-
found rocks. Odivira found rocks.
I rolled a
Damn.
23.
Oh, you found 23. Okay, so on
Pin
the.
found also rocks, but more.
I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously everybody found rocks. I was being sarcastic. I mean, if you didn't a 1, you'd be like, "Where'd they go? Where'd they go? What happened with this?"
Pin not only rocks, but the meaning behind them, their like place in the universe.
She carbon dated the fossils in them
There we go.
that she
I'm
can't
seeing
even
them through
see.
Space and time. There we go.
Okay, Pin. As you run your hand over the surface of the stones, you do feel like you do feel like there definitely were something carved into the surface, meaning like the surface was carved away to reveal like something over the top of it. You can't you'd have to investigate in some other way, but it definitely feels like there should be something there.
Preston, the paper, the charcoal. Let's see if we can do a rubbing on these to bring the letter forward.
Certainly, and I hand them to Ben. You probably have better hands than me for this.
Do you need me to roll something to try and capture a rubbing of the stones?
No, you're just rubbing the stones. That is not a. If you were trying to paint Mona Lisa with charcoal on paper, rubbing against a stone, that would be a skill check. This, you're just make rock hit rock with paper in between. So you do the thing, and at the end of those things, you have what appears to be a letter N.
N, like Nancy.
Like Nancy.
Thank you.
A letter L. And a letter, and a big circle.
H and big circle.
And an L.
could
Is this
either be.
Is it still daytime?
Yes, it is. And can I ask where you're doing this? Did you just like drop this down right in front of the sheriff's office, or not the sheriff's office, the blacksmith?
We were out. I think we all went outside because we were making him so uncomfortable. So I think we just are outside, sitting outside. Just...
I mean,
there's a nice little place with some grass that you could have sat down to do this. It's outside the blacksmith shop is probably not a bad place because you could sit and it's a nice little place. He's a friendly fellow. He gave you horseshoes. Oh, he chased you away with a broom. You gave him a broom. And there are 2 more rocks that you have not seen.
So there's 6?
Well, there were 5 that were missing that you knew of, but then you found, it looks like there was a 6th one on the blacksmith forge.
Oh, I thought we had seen that there were 5 spaces in the well.
Oh, that's true. Oh, did I spoil something? Whoops.
Oops.
Oh, is this going to be like one of those situations where you put a chicken named 1, 3, and 5 and release them somewhere?
Nope, no chickens. I don't even know what you're talking about, but I can guarantee you, I am comfortable saying that there is no solution to this puzzle that involves chickens.
We need to go talk to the old guy on the outskirts town.
Yeah. Let's go there next.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you knew where to go, and as you walk by the green, you see the general store. The green fire is still going, but now it vaguely smells like pickles. I'm gonna be honest with you all. I don't know what that smells like. I'm just gonna say it smells like pickles.
Does that smell garlic and dill and vinegar and
great? Does that sound good? I don't know.
Yes.
And so it smells vaguely like pickles as you walk by it, but the fire is still green. You see the shopkeeper inside. She's sitting in a chair, like looking out the door, and she has a giant jug of something. And just as you walk by, she just takes like a giant swig of whatever was in that jug.
Can we see how many X's are on that jug?
You can not through the fire. You can't. You may have to find out at some point though. But she's there. You see her. She is of sound body, maybe not of sound mind. We'll find that out later. But right now she is sitting and with just a big old jug. As you walk by, you walk down the road and you weren't necessarily sure like what they meant by like outskirts of town, but as you get like there's a little bit of a road there and it's not very long, and as soon as you see this cottage, it's like, oh, this is where the crazy old guy lives. Like you just know from when you see it. So stepping up near this cottage is like entering a world of wonder and whimsy. It's a small, quaint, lopsided dwelling that just from looking through the windows, it looks like it is stuffed with all sorts of curiosities. Some of the things you recognize, some things from other cultures, some things from faraway lands. Strange objects of unknown origin, shimmering trinkets, all these things are viewable from the one open window. And the door is slightly ajar.
Of pickles. I had to say it. Sorry.
I mean, are we getting into a pickle? Is that what you're telling me? So if we're getting into a pickle, Talia, you're the sturdiest one of us. Do you mind just like peeking first, or do you want me to be sneaky?
Did you say if we're getting into a pickle?
Yes. Actually,
you guys are better at puns than me.
do you think this person lives by themselves? I just have a very easy idea.
You get the sense that there is no way that more than one person fits in that house. Just from looking through the window.
You want me to just open the door?
It's kind of open already.
All right, I'm gonna walk in.
You can pop your head
Give
in.
it like a 1 as you walk in. Just to say that you knocked.
So as you open the door, you get confirmation of the stuff you can see through the windows. But you also see, shelves overloaded with books and papers and other weird things lining the walls. You are overwhelmed with the smell of like ink and old parchment and just things.
So heaven. It smells like
Once
heaven.
again, I repeat, I don't know what any of this stuff smells like. I just thought it sounded cool. And so as you open the door and cross through the threshold, a sprightly gnome with bright, inquisitive eyes leaps from you have no idea where, but clearly nothing moves, so he clearly had like a space. And he just absolutely jumps up and runs over and gives you a big hug. Hey, welcome to my home. Why are you here? No one ever comes to visit me.
We're trying to solve a mystery about some fire around the town store.
Oh, you mean the magical ward?
Yes.
That was made by that protection was put there by a wizard, I think, 20 years ago. Someone set it off.
Someone set it off, and now the shopkeep is trapped inside it.
She's trapped? Oh, I didn't realize anyone was trapped in there.
Oh, she's got supplies for days.
Well, it's the general store. I would hope that, how
Well,
long?
working on trying to save her.
Drinking, so we want to get her out of there.
Oh, well, we definitely should get her out of there. What can I do to help you?
We have... Go ahead, Ben.
Would you like me to? All right. So as we've been going around town, we're trying to gather the missing stones from the well. We have reason to believe.
Oh, I know exactly where mine is. And he literally just jumps in place, turns around, like in the air, like a little air pirouette, which is impressive for an old man like him. And then he kind of goes to a pile that is clearly piles of rock-like things. Now that you are there, you understand the place. Rory, you're having a problem. You back out.
I'm out.
Rory is just out of this place. You sit on the porch. There's a very organized chair, and you sit on the porch, and your birds just kind of huddle around you for like comfort. They're just very nervous. And so so clearly you notice now as you go around the room, you can see the piles just start to make a little bit more sense now that you've seen them for more than a few seconds. There's a pile of rock-like things, a pile of metal-like things. Bookshelves are covered with books, but they're all organized by color. Like all of a sudden, there is some order to this chaos, even if only for a moment. And he goes over to the pile of rock-like things, and there are some gemstones. There's some things that you see that probably are too valuable to be left in just a big pile like this. And he comes out and turns around, and he's hugging a brick very similar to the ones that you have seen, and it's wrapped in like... cheesecloth is not the right word, but it's like that kind of a simple cloth is just kind of holding it, and it's kind of wrapped up in twine, but you can see
like a linen cloth?
Yeah, like a linen cloth, something similar to that. Nothing very fancy. It's wrapped in twine, but you can see some of the edges of the sewn sticking out the edge. He says, if you need this, I'll give it to you, but you have to play a game with me.
What games do you want to play?
All right.
Well, would you play a game of riddles with me?
Yep.
Yep.
You folks are more riddles than I am.
So he holds the rock up above his head, which, by the way, this is a big rock. It is the same ones. Talia, you are impressed because you've been lifting these rocks. Obviously, you're strong, but you can look at this gnome and the fact that he's so easily lifted over his head, you are impressed because he doesn't look like he should be able to do that. This is like some King Boomy kind of stuff, like just up over the head. And he goes, and so as soon as he puts it up over his head, and he gives like this little cough, and then all of a sudden his body goes creepily still. And then his eyes open, and you see like, and it's just bright white lights. And he speaks and two voices speak. One is his, and one is like a weird, deep voice. And he says, I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with the wind. What am I? And then he like kind of shakes out of it, and he's like, I don't know what I just said, but you got to give me an answer. And he's holding the rock above his head. Tell me if you need me to repeat it. I don't remember what I said, though.
Please repeat it.
And then he kind of shakes a little bit, still holding the rock above his head. And his eyes blink and go back to the white. And he gets super still again. I speak.
Are you an echo?
And I freak out a little bit because that was louder than I was expecting. And he says, I don't know what I said, but I think that's the right answer. Yay, you did it. One more. But wait, I have a prize for that one. And he just kind of casually drops the stone on the ground and goes over and gets one of the gemstones from the rock thing and runs over and grabs one of the books from the bookcase. And then he pushes it back and he says, what color do you want? All of the colors are there. Blue. Well, okay, so he grabs one of the blue ones and he gives you a blue book and a gemstone that is not huge. As it gets closer to you, it's like when he picked it up, it looked like it was the size of a baseball. But when it gets closer to you, when he gets closer to you, it is reasonably sized, but a cool looking red gemstone. And then a blue book. And then he just hands it to Talia, because she's the one that gave the answer. One more, and then he just grabs the stone and throws it up in his hands. And he closes his eyes and like starts to think. Okay, here, I'll just give you I can't get it again. And so he just walks over and hands Talia the stone. I thought it was going to happen again. I don't know what happens, but whenever I want to play that game, I kind of forget what's happening for a few seconds. It's kind of weird, but I'll give you another prize anyway. So he goes over and he has there's a stack of papers. And so he digs through the papers and comes up, and there is one that is kind of the edges of the paper are kind of painted in gold, and it's wrapped in this beautiful ribbon. And he hands it to Preston. You look like a kind of guy that could use this. And then he says, so you have the stone. Do you know what the password is? Have you been able to figure it out?
Do you know what the password is?
I thought I did. Is it pickles?
It's not pickles. I did try that.
You tried pickles and it didn't work? Oh no.
Turn the fire green.
Because that's what I would have tried. Because the general store is famous for pickles.
That's what I thought too.
Oh. Well, I guess that makes sense. Because my rock had a D on it. And why would there's no... So, I don't know. But you can have it. Can you save the general store now? Hi, kid.
Try.
They're all cheering for you.
Everybody wave for the kid.
Good night, sweetie pie.
I love that both were in red.
Yep.
Yeah, her t-shirt says, sorry, can't, monkeys, bye.
Nice.
I like it.
Oh my god, that's wonderful.
I like it too. So can you save the general store now?
What are the letters we know now?
H, N, L, D, and then one of them is just a big circle. Bigger than the other one, so it doesn't look like it's a 0 or a O.
Just a big circle. It is not obnoxiously large. It's on a stone that is the same size as the other ones.
Okay.
So,
new idea. Let's go to the well, plug in all the stones that we have, and see if it might create either a greater symbol of meaning or a map.
All right.
Because if the circle is the well, and we have an N could mean north, and H and L and D could just be locations. Who knows?
Sure.
Just because I'm a divination wizard doesn't mean I know the precise future of things.
So you go.
I'm just trying to
So
guess.
do you all decide to go do this?
Let's
Yeah.
plug everything in the well and
Yes.
see where everything fits.
So you put everything into the well,
Well,
and
on
the
side.
stones. Well, you fit the rocks where they go. You are quite pleased to find out that when you get there, they all kind of fit where they're supposed to go, more or less. Nothing feels like it has to be forced. Some of them are obviously worn by time, but you're able to get them all in there. And there is a blank space, and then there is an L. Well, there are two. There is a blank space. There is a blank space. There is an L, and then a D, and then an O, and then an N. And Preston, I would like you to make some kind of check.
Intelligence based?
Roll D20.
Just a raw
I
D20?
want you to roll to see if your divination magic tells you anything.
16.
Something clicks in your head and you remember that you were told that the password is something that the whole town shares. And you uncontrollably blurt that out to everyone around you.
The password is something that everyone shares. Wait, what's the name of the town? The name of the town is Holden!
Wait, did your mic die out?
Yeah, I didn't
Yes.
quite catch that.
Is the name of the town Holden?
Yeah, it's the name of the town, and that's kind of what I did. I leaned too far away from the mic, so didn't pick
Yes.
it out.
The name of the town is Halden.
Oh, Holden. Okay, so I scream Holden, and then I get really embarrassed. And then I'm like, Holden? Still loud, but a little bit more timidly. As if I am very aware.
Nothing happens at the well. It's still a filled-in well.
Something.
Aren't we within a stone's throw from the barrier? Or is okay.
No, we're pretty
Let's
far
Go
away.
over the sea.
You're on the opposite
Okay.
side of the town.
I think we need to go to the portal, to the wall, and say Halden.
Yeah, we
Not
figured that from your shouting. So should we go do that?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You
Okay.
get the honor because I'm not yelling at that thing again.
Watch, all of a sudden it turns into just a picture of the town, and you're like, no. So you get up to you walk over. At this point, so he shouted that, and everybody noticed because just a random dude just screamed the name of the town. So people are kind of poking out of their buildings. At this point, it's the middle of the day, so people are out and about their business, just wagging, whatever. You head to the front of the general store, and Preston, what do you say?
Halden.
And as he says it, a kind of a wave of energy kind of flows from the tree outward to the into the town, like the circle and then the buildings, and you can kind of see this kind of pale energy kind of float across the ground, and as that circle of energy kind of moves across the plane of the green fire, it turns red again, and then it slowly starts to fade as the circle dissolves into, it kind of just slowly fades away, and the pickle smell goes away. Although that hangs on for a little bit. So and after a few moments, it's a little tense, but the fire goes out completely, and you see the building is completely unharmed. So which it was hard to tell before because the fire was, you could see kind of into it, but you didn't know if there was going to be any damage. The building is completely unharmed, and you see brightly colored painted walls. Even the tiles on the roof are all painted in different and interesting colors. And as soon as that wall of fire comes down, the tavern keep throws his helmet back behind him and runs in. And he throws open the door, which at that point was closed, and kind of runs in, throws the door open, and kind of disappears into the general store.
Shall we go in and check on the general storekeeper?
Yes.
See how she's faring.
So as you come into the door, you open the door, and you see a mostly stocked general store. Obviously, some of the food stores have been picked a little bit, including what looks like a whole barrel of pickles. It's just kind of empty, just right next to a chair in the middle of the room. But as you turn a corner, you see the shopkeeper, the woman that you saw through the fire, and the innkeeper in a warm and loving and very relieved embrace. Clearly, and you can hear him crying. He's super happy that she is safe. You can't really hear words. He's crying into her shoulder, but
Aww.
you get the sense that he's not upset that you saved her.
Happy tears.
Oh.
And
I love it.
He notices after a moment that you're standing there, kind of in his moment, and he says, and he just turns, and the general store owner, she says, "Well, you're here. He says you saved us. He says you saved me. I must reward you." And she starts running about, finding stuff and piling it on a table. And you will find out what those things are in 2 weeks when we come back for another episode of the Coils of Destiny. Congratulations, you saved the general store of Halden, and reunited two long lost loves.
Aww.
I hear that was a big deal.
It was a big deal.
Nice.
It was a big deal. And now I'm mad because I can't use that as the episode title. So everyone, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching as much as we enjoyed recording. We will be back next week for an episode of the Engaged Family Gaming Podcast. Amanda and I will be talking about Play New York City. And then a week after that, we'll be back for another episode of the Dungeons and Dragons, where these guys get back on the road unless they decide to hang out with the blacksmiths some more. So we will see you guys. The whole adventure may just be over because we may be hanging out with the Himbo Central. So everybody have yourself a great night. We will see you soon. And until next time, don't forget to get your family game on.
Bye.
Why? Bye.
Bye.